Okay, so shall I begin?
Yeah.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. I welcome all of you to the Pakistan First Online Writ Forum. My name is Altman Saeed, and I'm an associate at Khatanas Law Chamber and a program coordinator for the KLC Online Writ Forum. In the last 2 years, I've been working at Khatanas Law Chamber and having undergone the practical legal training experience program. I've been given an opportunity to basically run this one of its kind writ forum. Therefore, I welcome all of you on behalf of Khatanas Law Chamber. And today, since it is a very historic day, I will inaugurate this writ forum today at uh, 5 June 2020 at 5 p.m. in the presence of people from JPP, from YGA, and managing partners of several law firms. Thank you very much for being here. And if you could just give me a small thumbs up to basically initiate this writ forum's inaugural day, I'll be extremely honored. Thank you. Thank you. Moving on, I would like to explain basically what this writ forum is. This writ forum is basically Pakistan's first forum where anyone from the general public, meaning people from including the common man, can approach us to file any case regarding a public interest litigation. And why is it an online aid forum? The reason is because as we have moved into COVID-19 times, there's a need for our legal system to develop. And if we don't, we'll basically be restricting the common man from an access to justice. That is the precise reason for formulating this forum. There are additional advantages of creating this forum. Firstly, this is a digital platform that is available 24/7 for anybody to approach us for any violation of a fundamental right against a public body. Secondly, this video will basically be circulated amongst our legal fraternity, and lawyers from all over Pakistan and several high courts can file writ petitions that fall on the same topic of this video. Lastly, this forum can basically serve as a cross-border platform to take guidelines from other countries such as India and several other countries where we can take approaches from their judicial judgments and apply them here, and that will help improve our legal system a lot. This is actually one of our own. Our last online legal conference that was conducted by another associate at Khatanas Law Chamber, Mr. Aram Awais Sheikh. Moving on, since this initiative is about helping a common man, I have to explain what a writ is in very easy terms. A writ is basically a constitutional remedy, basically a remedy that can be filed at the High Court or the Supreme Court for a violation of any fundamental rights. Listed below are the types of writs, and these terms are not like important for any common man to learn because they can simply approach us if they have found out that there's a fundamental right violation happened against them. I'll explain what a fundamental right is in short notice. The formulation of this writ forum is basically because of our own past experience of public interest litigation, and we have tried to help many people through this initiative. In the past, we have basically been a part of the landmark law school litigation Supreme Court constitutional petition. We have also previously filed a writ petition under a Find a Prisoner button, which was in a collaboration with LUMS, which basically provided database of the prisoners, and through which we were able to release a few of them on bail. Furthermore, our most recent writ petition has been on animal welfare rights, which was filed by me personally as a petitioner uh, to basically advocate animal welfare rights and to go against the animal cruelty that happens in the Lahore Zoo. It is a currently pending writ. Now I'll move forward to basically the topic of discussion today. It is about prison reforms in Pakistan, and the main proposition that I would give forward to the speakers is that should an online independent system that monitors and surveils the physical conditions of prisoners in Pakistan be established or not? I'll give out a few reasons why this is very important. As we all know, Pakistan has a very crippled prison system, and the main reason of having a prison system is, in my sense, is to reform a criminal. But however, in reality, the picture is quite opposite. And we have also seen because of COVID-19, there has been overcrowding of prisoners in all over Pakistan, and the Pakistan prison rules specifically advocate that overcrowding should be avoided. However, it is not. Furthermore, there are these very prevalent issues that happen in our day-to-day times inside prisons. They have been there has been a lot of research over them, and a few of them are issues of custodial tortures. There are death in custody. There are issues of sexual violence. There are issues of improper application of prison rules, such as deprivation of appropriate food and clothing for prisoners, and violation of fundamental rights. Uh, Furthermore, I would like to further state that since there does not exist a holistic condition, a mechanism that monitors the holistic condition of prisoners, issues that I have already mentioned before will continue to exist. And these are some things that we want to avoid and to basically get rid of our system of. The benefits of such a system are these, that they will help juveniles and our more vulnerable classes of prisoners, because they'll be afforded rights as per the prison rules. However, in reality, they are not afforded them. And moving on, before I move on to the main gist of this discussion, where we'll be opening up specific issues that we have found out through our research, I would like to give a few seconds to the managing partner of Khatanas Law Chamber, Mr. Anik Khatana, to say a few words about this forum. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Altamash. First of all, welcome all of you. The main reason why we have created this forum is that we really wanted to help people who are facing lawlessness in the society. We are not here to help any individual, but we want to help people in masses. Khatanas Law Chamber has a long history of providing pro bono services, which is why we wanted to create this online forum where people could reach us directly 24 hours. Mr. Altamash Saeed, who's been working with us from last 2 years, is going to be available 24/7 for this service. And he is very enthusiastic that he really wants to help people all over the Pakistan, because if we file a writ in Lahore, the same writ would be able to use or file in other provinces as well. So we need all of your support because we can't do it alone, especially senior people like Mr. Zafar Kalanori and others who have joined us today, Mr. Azhar Siddiq as well. So thank you very much for joining us, and good luck, Altamash. We really admire your efforts and courage and the way you are serving for Khatanas Law Chamber. Well done, Altamash. Over to you.
Thank you. Can I also give a few seconds to Ms. Kuratar and Nasir as well, who is the corporate advisor of Khatanas Law Chamber?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you, Altamash. First of all, I would like to congratulate everyone that this is the first time that any law firm has taken this step in Pakistan, that they have established an online writ forum. As we have seen that recently there have been a lot of cases in Pakistan that in that the clients actually required a lot of consultancy, but without consulting lawyers, they actually moved on, took steps that were not beneficial for them. So from the system that we have established, this writ forum online system, anyone can approach us, so it will be very beneficial for every individual in the longer run, because we will be catering their fundamental rights. And regarding the topic today, as we know that if we will monitor prisons and the detention facilities, it is one of the most effective ways that would prevent torture and ill treatment of the prisoners in Pakistan and all over the country. So thank you, Altamash, for giving me some time, and I would like to welcome all of you for being part of this and for being part of this journey that we have commenced. Thank you.
Thank you very much. To basically illustrate the fact that we are here to properly work on these issues, we have already researched from our end and pointed out a few provisions of CRPC and several other constitutional articles that apply here if a writ is to be filed. The point that I'm trying to make here is that I would deeply appreciate if the speakers here could give us a few legal issues that would be that could be made a part of this writ, and we could effectively basically file a writ in due time and help our people. And that's the entire purpose of formulating this forum, that we actually do work, not just say that we'll do it. So for that, I'll end my PowerPoint slides and I'll open the floor to the speakers here I would request to please say a few things about the topic and suggest us a few issues that could be made part of this writ. To start with, I would just state that upon a thorough research of CRPC, it is stated that as per Article 176, custodial deaths, which usually happen in prisons, are to be an inquiry has to be conducted by this. Moreover, there's an issue where there is a allows for remand and prisoners are nerved. A few words about the topic and tell me a few issues that could be made a part of this writ, because that's the entire purpose of formulating this forum, where we have positive research discussion. Thank you. Anyone in the speakers can now take a stand and point us out a few issues.
Alchemist,
Can you hear me?
if I'm not wrong, you are looking for articles, case laws, and suggestions from the audience, so we can file the writ, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Sir, over to you, Sir Zafar Kalwar.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This is a very important topic that we are looking at, and you are planning the right thing in the right direction. That conditions in the prisons are really bad. I give you a little background of the jails and prisons, what's it all about, because as non-official visitor, and I have been part of this Human Rights Board. 1990 Supreme Court formed a committee which was headed by Justice Zulla, and all other Chief Justices were present. And this Human Rights Board is located in every district, whereas the president of the committee is the district and sessions judge, and the secretary is the president of the bar. Ex officio is the president. Then you have DCO on board, you have magistrates on board, and you have people from the civil society on board. So they do so many things. And one thing is they visit jails very frequently. And we have been visiting jails, and we can see in jails many people are lying there because they cannot afford to submit a bail bond. As you know, there are very stringent conditions which are not nowhere given in the Criminal Procedure Code. They say there ought to be someone who should file a bail bond who is from the same city, and he should be having his property. So people are reluctant. If somebody is caught hold of police, maybe in a trifling matter, and he has come from Quetta and he is caught hold of in Lahore, and he is unable to provide this bail, so he is behind the bars. So jails are crowding up because of this reason, that a lot of people are in jails. They shouldn't be in jails because they cannot provide bail. So we have to look at the that would be why this concept of bail started in the first morning in the jails, and they said there will be, like pandemic situation right now, are suffering because that. Why keep people in and somebody third person responsible that he will be appearing in before the someone. So bail was granted very liberally, and right now in England, generally they grant bails very liberally. We are important to me. Not jail. This is the first thing, right? Bad. And this online thing, it could be brought on the basis of rules that you can monitor people inside the jail, what the conditions are. Presently, rules don't allow that, because whenever I visited jail, along with these committee members, they will provide good food only for that day, and other time we don't provide him with a psychologist, with a psychiatrist, so that he's done counseling, and once he comes out, he's a better member of the society. He ends up being mixed up with hardened criminals, and once he comes out, he commits crimes and he goes back. You have to keep them aloof, especially the juvenile people. There is no concept in jails. Most of jails there is no facility as such, and then these children who are going to be young men of the future, and they end up being criminals, which is bad for the society. So we have to enforce these conditions in jails also. So in your writ petition, you should include that the general conditions in the jails are bad. And one thing is with regard to bails, and secondly with regard to women and children, and thirdly what I say is that a lot of people in jails who cannot pay compensation. Under Qisas and Diyat ordinance, you can pay compensation and you can come out. The rich people, they can afford to pay compensation, poor people cannot. And there was a verdict by the Lahore High Court, Justice Asif Said Khosa, when he was here, it was a full bench judgment, which said this is the bounden duty of the government that they should pay the compensation of these people who cannot pay from Baitul Mal, which is not being done. So this is, if you can afford, you are Shahrukh Jatoi, you can buy your, liberty. And if you cannot, you will be behind bars. And this happened in Raymond Davis calls also. So you have to look at these things. Then medical facilities in the jails are very, very bad. You have to improve, you have to have better hospitalization facilities in jails, have better doctors access. You should arrange for having exercise and activities, healthy activities like that. Because healthy mind thinks healthy. And if you provide them, with good clothing, you take care of their hygienic standards, which are not there. And presently, when we are facing this COVID situation, Islamabad High Court, they in one go set so many prisoners free. So did the Chief Justice of Sindh High Court in one go. And Supreme Court disliked it and they said, this is not on. How can you pick and choose like this? And there are certain people who have to remain in jail in any case. But these are the hardened criminals. But what about improving these conditions? What about changing the bail rules? What about providing better provisions to the society? And this says that these people are going to come back. In America, what happened? Elijah Muhammad did a movement that black people, they end up in jail when they are before 12 years of age, and they go there again and again. What Elijah Muhammad did, that day people professed Islam, because these people, when they were in jail, they came back in the open. They provided them with jobs, like they were doing gardening and things like that. And since they were better members of the society, they will never commit a crime again. Otherwise, maybe perchance you hate the crime, and you hate the crime, but not the human being. The minimum requirements which are under the UN rules, which are under the Constitution also. And you are right, there are so many deaths to take place because torture is affected upon so many people. And this is not only in jails, this is in the police lockup also. And in countries like Bangladesh even, they have a glass house in which you are being investigated, and some of your relative or known to you, he is looking at it. But over here, people are tortured like anything, they break the hell out of them, and people die of that. So
Yes.
when you draft this reputation, please take into account all these points. We can bullet them also. I'll provide you some bullet points, and the law also, because law of Prisons Act is also when the foreign rulers were here. Things have changed. What has changed? We are dealing with the same rules. So we will be looking at the prison rules. We will be looking at the Juvenile Justice Act also, which is again a defective legislation. And then this probation thing. Probationary rules are not being acted upon. They are not being used. And all around the globe, this is something which is being used. Or you can set people on probation, and then time juvenile is involved and adult is involved, and their trial is to take place. Law says separate trials will take place, but practically speaking, there are no other courts. And why do it again and again? So judges are reluctant to record it, the evidence once another time. So these are the lacunas in the laws also. So we must point out in the writ petition that these lacunas should be looked into. And the previous writ petition, like I mentioned you, the writ petition in which verdict was given by the full court of Lahore High Court, and then there are other important judgments too. So we must examine all those judgments and bullet all these points. This is a very decent writ, and this is damn on target. And believe you me, one more thing is that when you say video conferencing and trial through video link, the people who are in jail, they can be, easily
Yes,
record
accessible.
the evidence through video link instead of bringing them to court, and the remand can be done there. Why haul up the whole system? We are not using all these things and techniques, and now is the time for going online, and we must go online, all this. And in this writ petition, we must seek this kind of a direction from the High Court again. That why shouldn't we be devising a new system whereby instead of bringing the people, the vehicles in which these prisoners are brought from jail to the courtroom, the conditions they are in, these are not human-like
Yes.
treatment at all. And the hawalat which are next to courtrooms, they are in a pathetic condition. So we have to improve all these things. So do it as a whole. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I've actually noted down all of your points as well. Data will be accessible for everybody after this video is shared. Now I would like to actually ask Ms. Anna Farooq, who's here from the GPP, the Justice Project Pakistan, and I would like her to words about this topic and suggest us a few issues that could become a part of this thread. Over to you, Ms. Anna.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy that you've included me as a speaker. I'm going to try and keep this very brief, and I completely defer to the expertise of some very senior lawyers who are present here. Just as a starting point, I work at Justice Project Pakistan. We represent mostly death row prisoners, but also other vulnerable prisoners, and work on general prison conditions. So we might work on people with mental health issues or disabilities. So that's the scope of work that I do. So my access to visiting prisons is through when I go to visit my own clients. So when we're talking about prison reform, I like the idea that you kept the actual topic of this very wide, because you need widespread reform to fix some of these issues. I agree with a lot of the things that Zafar Saab said. So you're not just looking at, you're reforming the entire jail manual. So that's the Prisons Act and the prison rules. And then you've got the parole rules, you've got so the Juvenile Justice System Act, you've got the CRPC. You need holistic reform in order to make some real tangible change here. So just because we're trying to look at very practical solutions, I'd like to just flag that. So there are committees meeting as we speak. There are committees meeting on the parole rules, the Punjab Prison Services Act, and the prison rules. So we're hoping to see output from those in the next few months. So that would be very relevant to whatever writ you end up filing. I know that the Juvenile Justice System Act, there's a time of what predated it. So we see that there are new laws coming up. One of the biggest places that you're going to have a problem here is implementation of good practices that they are going to incorporate or have already incorporated. So one of the main things that I would highlight is the lack of a grievance redressal mechanism for both prisoners, the flag when injustices have happened to them, and also for the staff and prison officials that work in prison, for them to here. Besides this, I think it's very important to remember when filing a writ that lawyers are experts in the law that they are practicing. We are not experts in practical matters, or even I believe that the thing you've given, whether video surveillance and prison advocacy and litigation for prisoners for a long time, but I would be the first person to say that I am not an expert. When you ask me that question, whether video surveillance is important or a way to solve these problems, I would say I don't know the answer to that. I have to go back and check first of all the standards, which I should as a lawyer. So then you have to check the Tokyo rules, the Bangkok rules, the Mandela rules, If you go to the UNODC website, or if you go to Ref World or any of those, there's just a huge list of standards and international standards that apply to people in detention. So you'd have to look at all of those and do a gap analysis of where the jail manual falls short and where international standards and constitutional standards meet, so that you can flag where you should pick up on things. But when you're filing a writ, and if you're talking about any video conference links, or you're talking about just surveillance of prisoners, I think our job collectively as lawyers should be to link the court to the experts that can actually determine scientifically through research studies what the best case scenario is. If one of the biggest problems that I see if I'm dealing with our women prisoners team is children who live in prisons with their mothers. So in our law, you're allowed to keep your child with you until the age of 6, and that can be extended. I know one of our clients who has been given the death penalty, and her child is intellectually disabled. While there are rules that exist to help her child gain an education, there are no explicit rules that say that that child needs to get a specific treatment or specific interventions at an early age to ensure that her disabilities are not heightened. So there are lots of little things that we can flag as problems, but I mean, it would take hours and hours to do that. So I would say, first of all, you have to do a gap analysis of what areas you're even trying to target, look at all of the international best practices, look at all of the international rules that apply, and then instead of, as lawyers, picking out what the best practices are, link the court to people who can actually make those decisions. So your goal in the end should be, are we forming a committee to come up with suggestions for amendments? Are we getting the Office of Input? Are we getting the Home Department, Law Ministry, IG Office? Those are the 3 parties that will implement at the end anything that you want to have included in the law. So I would just say that because this is such a wide area, this is the type of thing where you need wide collaboration and to cast a very wide net, because the problems are endless. But I would say that just as an intro, because this is the first meeting, those are the things that I would say.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Anna. I'm extremely thankful for your points, and I've noted them down as well, and we'll definitely work on all of them, each single one of them. Thank you. Is there anyone else among the speakers who would like to say a few words about this topic as well and suggest a few issues? Okay, so I'll move forward, and I'll, as we all know about.
Altamash, I think I want to speak in Urdu as I would be more comfortable. तो हम जब किसी को डिटेन करते हैं, मेरा पॉइंट ये है कि जब हम डिटेन करते हैं किसी भी प्रिजनर को, तो आई थिंक आर्टिकल 10A में ये फॉल्स डिटेंशन की बात हुई है ना, कि हम किसी को फॉल्सली डिटेन नहीं कर सकते. मोस्टली हमारे सिस्टम में होता है कि हम फॉल्सली डिटेन कर लेते हैं, पुलिस जो है वो कर लेती है, उनको फिर जेल में भेज दिया जाता है. उसके बाद द वे दे आर ट्रीटेड, तो आई थिंक इस पे और मतलब वो लोग जो हैं वो उनके कोई ऐसा मतलब उनका प्रूफ भी नहीं हुआ होता, जो उनका जो क्राइम है वो प्रूव नहीं हुआ होता, लेकिन ये कि उनको गलत तरीके से ट्रीट किया जाता है, उनपे जो भी क्वालिटीज होती हैं वो होती हैं. तो आई थिंक ये पुलिस का जो सिस्टम है और ये आर्टिकल 10A के अंडर हम इसको आई थिंक हाईलाइट कर सकते हैं. और ये बहुत बहुत बेसिक पॉइंट है कि आप किसी का फंडामेंटल राइट, सबसे पहला पॉइंट तो ये होना चाहिए कि आप किसी को फॉल्सली डिटेन ना करें. अगर आपने कर लिया है तो आप एटलीस्ट उसके साथ जो अपना जो ट्रीटमेंट है वो बिल्कुल जस्ट होना चाहिए, बिकॉज जब तक आप उसको प्रूव नहीं कर रहे उसके किसी गिल्ट को या क्राइम्स को, तो आप उसको इस तरह से ट्रीट नहीं कर सकते. तो मेरे ख्याल में सबसे जो मेन पॉइंट है वो यही होना मतलब है कि आर्टिकल 10A के अंडर हम जब भी किसी को अगर हम डिटेन कर रहे हैं तो एटलीस्ट उसका जो ट्रीटमेंट है उसको सही करें, और उस पर प्रॉपर चेक एंड बैलेंस होना चाहिए, खुद भी पुलिस का भी. और आई थिंक जब हम फेयर जस्टिस और फेयर ट्रायल की बात करते हैं तो आई थिंक इसको बीच में जो हमारी जुडिशरी है उसको भी प्रॉपर चेक एंड बैलेंस इसका होना चाहिए. इसका जो भी हम सिस्टम इंट्रोड्यूस करवा सकते हैं वो.
Okay, thank you. I think you're also suggesting to the point कि false detention के साथ साथ custodial deaths भी prisons में काफी होती हैं. due to which ये detention का जो Article 10 है ये directly apply करता है. Furthermore, couple of other articles जो कि बहुत self-evident हैं which apply in this situation include the right to life, the right to dignity, even the right to information कि prisoners किस condition में हैं. The families need to know about them, especially if it's female prisoners with childs, or if it's some kind of a juvenile person, तो उनकी information उनको properly बतानी चाहिए. However,
बिल्कुल वो आर्टिकल 19A जो है वो भी वायलेट हो रहा होता है समटाइम्स, क्योंकि उनकी फैमिलीज को प्रॉपर राइट्स नहीं, मतलब उनकी इंफॉर्मेशन प्रॉपर नहीं मिल रही होती है. तो आई थिंक कोई ऐसा सिस्टम भी इंट्रोड्यूस होना चाहिए जिससे हम लोग या जो भी उनके एडवोकेट्स हैं, जो भी उनके बारे में कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन लेना चाह रहा है, वो उनको वो उस इन्फॉर्मेशन को एक्सेस कर सके हम, ताकि हमें पता हो कि हम उनको मतलब वो मॉनिटर हो रहे हैं जो हमारे प्रिजनर्स हैं और वो प्रॉपरली ट्रीट हो रहे हैं, और हम उनके बारे में जो हमारे प्रिजनर्स हैं उनके बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन वगैरह जो ले सकें. आर्टिकल 19 इस चीज को इंश्योर करता है कि हम हमारे पास हमारे जो प्रिजनर्स हैं उनकी मतलब राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे पास है, और इस पे कोई मतलब रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है.
Precisely. I think you're also trying to link this point to the fact that somebody else raised their hand. Miss Mariam Rashid, if you want to say a word, you can.
Yeah. I have a question, actually two questions, one from Miss Sana and one from Sir Zafar. जब आपने बात की about Sir Zafar Kalanoy से जब आपने बात की about the compensation thing, I'm just a fresh law graduate and I've never really worked on prisoners and torture, so I wanted to be clear. Compensation में are you talking about if they're able to afford counsel, or is that something else?
I reply to that. A right to counsel is not my fundamental recognized right except from heinous crimes, one thing. So right to attorney तो जनरली मिलता नहीं है लोगों को. एक तो ये भी प्रोवाइड करने की आपकी बात का जवाब है. दूसरा जो मैं बात कर रहा था वो मैं कंपनसेशन की जो बात कर रहा हूँ. In our country there is a Qisas and Diyat ordinance according to which even heinous crimes can be compensated. और वो कंपनसेट करने के लिए एक अमाउंट है और अमाउंट भी काफी बड़ी बनती है. चांदी की वैल्यू है. जो लोग नहीं दे सकते वो जेलों में है, और एक जजमेंट है हाई कोर्ट की फुल बेंच की आसिफ सैयद खोसा साहब ने दी थी कि जो नहीं दे सकते तो फिर स्टेट को उसको बैतुल माल से देना चाहिए. तो बहुत सारे लोग इसलिए आजादी नहीं ले सकते. जैसे मैंने आपको शाहरुख जतोई की बात की या रेमंड डेविस केस में वो पे कर सकते थे तो उन्होंने अपनी आजादी खरीदी. अमीर आदमी की जेल हो रहा है, गरीब की जेल हो रहा है. और सिर्फ एक बात करके आप प्लीज डिस्टिंक्शन ड्रॉ कीजिए. अंडर ट्रायल प्रिजनर्स और एक्यूज्ड और कन्विक्ट का फर्क है. दोनों को ट्रीटमेंट में भी फर्क होगा. अभी जिनके ऊपर सिर्फ अंडर ट्रायल है उनकी भी ट्रीटमेंट वही वाली करनी जो दूसरों वाली करनी है, ये गलत है. और फिर ये मैं नॉन ऑफिशियल आपको विजिटर की बात कर रहा था. ये जो लोग वहां जाते हैं वो रजिस्टर के अंदर सब कुछ लिखते हैं, इवन वो लोगों को इंटरव्यू कर सकते हैं और वो प्रिविलेज्ड है. लेकिन वो जो राय है और वो सारी चीजें बहुत मैटर करती हैं चीजों को रिफॉर्म करने के लिए. तो थोड़ी सी वो भी रिसर्च को देखना चाहिए.
Sir Zafar, I'm really sorry I'm cutting you short. Actually, we're about to end in 1 minute, and I wanted.
Altosh, I would request you to please arrange another session so we can discuss it properly.
Okay, I will do that.
You can write down my name as a
Mr. Anik, you can close.
I think we need to have another session so we can discuss this properly and then we find.
You can close.
I would request you to please arrange another session with all of these people, and we are really thankful to Miss Sana and Zafar Kalanoy because their information was really inside and useful. So please arrange another meeting so we can conclude this before